to Real Business Breakthrough with your host, Judy Jewett. This show is for spiritual minded individuals, for entrepreneurs, business owners that are conscious and want to bring a combined way of the left to right brain, of the masculine and the feminine, of the spiritual aspect in their business. And it is to uplift you, to inspire you, to motivate you, to empower you in life. So thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I do want you to know that I help entrepreneurs who feel that they are stuck in their life some way to remove the barriers that is keeping them from living their dream life. So they have more confidence, more inspiration, and more clarity in what they do. Today, I'm going to bring on our guest. I want to introduce you and tell you a little bit about her. Her name is Lori Lyons. Hello, Lori.
Hello, hello.
Lori is the CEO of Igniting Your Business. It's a website design and marketing agency that helps small business owners get more leads, more ideal clients, and make more money with a magnetic online presence. She is the creator of the Marketing to Speak program designed to help speakers get on bigger stages and attract larger audiences. I am so excited that you're here and I cannot wait to hear more about what you do. Thank you very much, Lori.
Thanks for having me, Judy. This is going to be fun. We're gonna have a good ride, good time.
Yes, we are. And it is really important because when you think about being online, there's there's millions and millions of people, right?
Yes,
And trying to you can't touch them. You can't have that intimate contact. So a lot of it is online. And so it is how are you? So the point is, how can you stand out? Right? To
yeah,
be and have a magnetic presence. And during the Lionsgate, I specifically invited you to be here on the Lionsgate because the energy is really electrifying for us all. And it is magnetic for us all. So it's a time to manifest more of what
right.
you want, is it not?
It is. And I thought it was because Lyons was my last name. Hey, you know? Yeah, no, it is. And it's today it's ever more challenging because there's so many people online. How do you stand out online? How do you get your message out? How do you draw people in? How do you grow your business? Because all of this, if you're a business owner and you're doing all this and it's not converting, you're doing something wrong.
You're right. You're so right. And then you even help entrepreneurs how to get on stages, right?
Yes, I do. I
How,
do.
how do you go about that?
Yeah, well, I don't help them. My job is not to get them on stages. My job is to make sure that the people who put them on stages see them. So it all comes back to their marketing because speaking is a great way to grow your business. It's a great way to get your name out there. It's a great way to be known, which is what business owners need if they want to grow and scale to a certain level, and especially on social media. So what I teach speakers is make sure your marketing is good because there are coaches out there and programs that will help you with your message. There are programs out there that will help you get on the stages, but if your marketing is not consistent in the middle of it, then you're going to get ignored to somebody whose is. And a lot of that has to do, which relates right back to what we're talking about with, a magnetic online presence, is making sure that you have a solid brand, make sure that it's recognizable as far as and consistent across all the platforms that you use. Make sure you're on the right platform for where your ideal client is or your ideal audience so that those event planners will see you. And then you just want to make sure that your message is clear and that you have a clear way of saying it to these event planners or people that actually promote and hire speakers. And it all goes back to marketing.
It does, doesn't it? It
Yeah,
really does. No matter what you do,
yeah,
you're going to be the best kept secret on the sidelines until you
absolutely.
know how to market who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was talking to a potential client yesterday, and she was talking about, social media and all these, all these followers that she was getting. And I'm like, that's all well and good, but are you making money off of the followers? Are you able to convert them into business? Because I don't care how many followers you have. I have a little bit of a different philosophy that if you're not converting them or in some way taking them and keeping them and taking them off that social media, then you're just putting pretty pictures or quotes up. So
Yeah. Can you give us an example of what you would do to help others?
yeah, the first thing we would do is we would plan. And plan, I say this a lot, plan is not a four-letter word. Because if you know what you're going to do, if you sit down and you say, all right, let's use my business for example. I have several different pieces. Marketing can go in a lot of different ways. It can be your website, it can be social media, it can be branding, it can be email funnels or list building. It can be, I mean, I think I have 8 funnels that, of course, 3 of them are escaping me right now. But if I wanted to go and I wanted to take, let's say, branding, for example, and I wanted to just talk about branding for the next month, I could do that and I could plan it out and say, all right, week 1, I'm going to talk about being consistent. Week 2, I'm going to talk about where people are, how to be consistent on social media, how to say your correct message. Week 3, I'm going to talk about the colors that you use, the visual branding. Week 4, I'm going to talk about your verbal branding or your tone of voice. So I've taken a big subject, I've broken it down into four pillars, weeks. Now I'm going to take those same 4 weeks and I'm going to break them down further into 1 month, into 1 week. So now under, let's say, visual branding, I'm going to talk about your logo. I'm going to talk about the psychology of color. I'm going to talk about placement. I'm going to talk about, a lot of business owners I know have signature colors that they all wear. I hate that. My own personal feeling, because I don't want you known for a color. I want you known for what your message is. So, that's one of my platforms. So I will talk about each of the different aspects of visual branding, one per day. So now all of a sudden, if I do that on each of those 4 topics, I now have 28 to 30 mini messages and many pieces that I can talk about in social media. So for example, on Instagram, I could post a quote about the color blue. The color blue signifies royalty, it's power. It's calming, it's soothing. There's all kinds of things the color blue does. That could be an Instagram quote. I could wear something blue. I could, post up a blue coffee mug and say, "Did you know that blue, whatever?" Or, post a line from a song. There's several cool quotes about blue song, with blue songs. You can talk about red, you can talk about any of that. Then I can take that same message and I could do a TikTok reel with my blue stuff on and I can dance to a blue song and I could say, "Hey, did you know that the color blue is this, 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 and this? Are you using this correctly in your brand? Is your marketing message consistent with the blue color that you use?" And that could be a little short 60 second. Then I could take that same thing and I could make it another reel on Instagram, or I could put it up as a story, or I could, repurpose it in a number of ways. Then I could take the whole thing and I could put it on Pinterest and I could have a lead magnet that talks about the psychology of color in your marketing and all the different ways you could use marketing. And I've done all this from one social media post that I've broken down from 28 subjects to one subject, all about color and the different ways that I've used it. So I forgot the original question, but but so
What can
but
you
we just had
share
to
with
return.
us? Give us
Yes.
an example, is what I was saying.
Yes. Okay, good, good,
Share
good.
with the audience something that they can literally get a tip today.
Yes.
And we're talking about being magnetic with the magnetic energy. Your company is already about magnetic. And on an energy level, just on an energy, magnetic is feminine and electric is masculine.
I did not know that. I learned something new
Yes.
today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. You have to have both.
Yeah.
So the magnetic is you get to the feeling of what it is you want to create in life. You feel it from the heart. And that's the feminine energy. And the masculine takes action to make it happen. It's movement, it goes forward, it charges forward. And when
Interesting.
those two marry, literally join together, you have fireworks and you've just created your dream.
There you go. There you
Yeah.
go.
You
Yeah, and
just
I
not,
thought when
I mean, you literally created it, meaning
yeah,
it's there, not
yeah.
that it's just an idea.
Right, and that's awesome because I saw magnetic as attracting. That's what I was thinking when I talked about, a magnetic for me meant we're going to, take that magnetic pull and attract things because you're talking to your ideal client. You're saying the message that resonates. You're,
Magnetic,
something in
right, right.
yeah, something in what you say you want to bring people in with.
You do, and it's like it's like two magnets, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They come together. It's like a battery. You have the yin and the yang, the
Right.
positive and the negative, and that's not meant negative energy or positive energy. It's
Right.
just the way, and it's literally the way the universe operates.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Everything operates. And then you take the fact that everything is energy and nothing can be energy cannot be destroyed. You change form, right? so
Right,
you
right.
that's what you're doing. You're taking something very concrete and
Yeah.
making it even better.
Yeah, good analogy. Yes,
Well, I
absolutely.
don't
So
know
yeah,
if it is, but it's the way I think. So I can
yeah,
say, being a spiritualist. Yeah.
yeah, and my energy is okay. Let's just what else can we do with this? And now it's and I don't want to say it's not a frantic energy, but you want to what you want to put out to the world is what you want to come back to you. You want
Yes.
to you want to say this is who I am. And this is what I'm looking for, whether you say it in so many words or you say it in the type of message that you so that it will in turn attract those clients to you because positive negative energy, but it's going to attract the clients to you that are drawn to that message and the way you say it. And that's really a lot of what marketing is getting your message out there in the world so that somebody understands it and somebody resonates with it.
It is. It is. It's very, very important. And everyone with a business, even whether it's brick or mortar, we all know about an
Yeah.
online presence. It's been around for a very long time. And
Yeah.
I will tell you that my first gold mine opportunity online was back in the 90s when they were building out websites for the first time. And I bought one. It was only $500 at the time. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but and it is, but back in the 90s it
It was
sure
a lot of
was.
money. Yeah.
But I was making a lot of money and I didn't care. And so I was going to do, and I didn't know what to do it. And I had a girlfriend say, well, do da da da. And I was already wanting to be a healer and I was working in corporate America and all this stuff. And my life was still too chaotic.
Yeah.
And I hadn't been that long since I'd been divorced and I was healing and trying to self discover. I was not grounded in my body. I was like,
Yeah.
out there. But if I had done it right and really did it, I could be sitting and not working. Right? I'd be working, but completely behind the scenes. The guy that had sold me, I'll never forget. He said, "Well, there was a woman." I said, "Well, I don't know what to do." He says, "Well, there's a woman online that makes pies, and she sells them. She sends them and sells them all over the place." And that
Yeah.
was in the 90s.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was funny. One of our good friends, one of my husband's very good friends, worked for AT&T in the early 90s. And they were on the cutting. He worked for the department that was on the cutting edge of putting all that together. Because originally it was to hospitals and universities and governments
Yes,
and all that. So they were working on putting it out to the world. And this was early 90s. They'd been doing it for a while, and people just weren't coming on board yet. But we were at dinner, we were having a conversation about the internet, and I was like, wait, our computers are going to talk to each other? It just totally was blowing my mind. 2 days later, we were in New Jersey. I had an appointment in New York City at a very big advertising agency down there. They were one of my clients. And I walked in and talked to the director of, the creative director of this big agency. And we were on Avenue of the Americas. So picture, it was a big deal. And I walked in and talked to him and I said, we were just chatting, and I'm like, I just heard the neatest thing, and I was telling him about this going on, and he's like, wait a minute. You mean that one day somebody can go onto their computer and order a Ford truck? I said, exactly. He says, never happened. And like, now look at where we are. you know?
Right, right. Well, I was in telecom. That's
Yes.
what I was selling in the when I moved to Houston, and um, it telecom was a big deal,
Oh,
and
yeah.
they talked about DSL. Is it DSL? DS
The dial-up service. The
dial-up service.
yeah.
Yeah, but it was internet, and I
Yeah.
thought, oh my God, I'm not technically challenged. I mean, I'm technically challenged. Then I was really. I'll have to tell you some jokes about it, but oh yeah, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand
Yeah.
someone had to put, like, I was selling cellular service. You had to put the numbers in the phone for me. I had no idea how to program it, and I had to do all this, right? Then I go to Nextel, which was digital two-way radios,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
Yeah.
cell phone and data and all this cutting edge stuff. And
Yeah.
so yeah,
How
so
far
I
we've come.
right, and I didn't know anything about a brick phone because by the time I came around, the phones were starting to be like this
Yeah. Yeah.
size, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
were gray, and they were still big, and now, we've got our little phones, and then they were flip phones, and so we've gone it's like it just took off, and it
Oh, yeah.
changed so much.
Yeah.
So, I love it. So you've been in technology a long time, and
No,
online.
not well, not really, because the first company I had, I owned a marketing packaging company, and this was back in the 90s. And we sold customized binders and folders and DVD and video packaging and all of that kind of stuff. And that was when a lot of businesses, they get their logo put on it, and they the folders they'd use to sell. And as this online thing got bigger and bigger, all of a sudden companies were putting their HR online, they were putting their sales packages online, they were doing this online. And about 2006, so I'd had my company for about 12 years at this point, I had one really big client that we were working, and I knew with marketing campaigns it wasn't going to be around for, because it was a very specific marketing campaign. And I said, when this is over, I'm going to have to make a decision about my business, because I just didn't want to try to like start over. And at the time, pivot wasn't the thing, but I didn't want to have to swivel or pivot. I wanted to just like say, all right, I'm done. And so I closed my business, and kind of did a couple of things. And then 2008, 2010 came along, and everything became a commodity. But in 2010, I went to work for a digital marketing company. And that's where I learned all the tech. And I still wasn't very technical. I didn't know how to, like, I knew how to log in, but I didn't know where email came from or any of that. But I started asking questions, and I started learning. And YouTube at the time was really a bunch of geeks online teaching stuff. So I'd go onto YouTube and I'd learn how to do the back end of a website. We were a WordPress shop, so I'd learn all about WordPress and all this. So I started becoming more technical. And then the irony is, in 2013, I was laid off because I wasn't technical enough. So I was like, hold my beer. I'm going to show you. So I started building websites. And
Oh
so
wow.
that's where it came from. I had one of my high school buddies call me, and he said, I hear you're working for a website company. You want to build me and I need a website. And I'm like, well, I'm not, but and I don't know what possessed me, but I was like, I'll build you a website. And so I did, and he's still a client to this day. So, you just never know how things
They
are going to work
showed you, you showed them, like, don't challenge
out.
me, I'll show you. I have to.
Exactly.
So I'll share this, and I know this because I am spirit. I mean, my spiritual, well, I'm a spiritualist, so
Yeah.
I look
Yeah.
at everything up here at a very spiritual level, and things don't are not always the way they seem to be. And so back as I'm telling you, I was very technically challenged, and I got lost driving in this big ass city of Houston that had 8 lanes of road coming from
Right.
the
Right.
cornfields in Ohio. And I have to tell you, if you could understand that my mother's belief was she was very challenged with directions, very, very, very challenged with anything, couldn't fix anything, very with technology, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's learned behavior, right? And she thought, well, you just put the car in reverse to get home, right? So I would laugh, here I am in one of the largest cities of the country, and I have to drive around in outside sales, and I don't know where in the F I am. And I can't tell you on the Beltway, if anyone is from Houston listening to this, I would go sometimes in circles, right? But, and then I would, and so that gives you an idea of where I'm at. And you already know I'm
Nope.
challenged technically, but I
Yeah.
will tell
Totally.
you, this is what I want everybody to hear, that I worked in corporate America in the Galleria area with 50 of us salespeople. There was only a very small percent of women, and I became one on the President's Club. I won the President's Award, and I ended up being number two in the company. And I ended up, I was shy of making 100 grand. And I'll tell you how I did it. This is the thing I want people to understand in manifesting. You already know I don't know what the hell I'm doing at all, right? But I was a people. I wanted to make people happy. I wanted to be of service. And I started the principles of how to manifest. And I came up with the way I would write down, well, let's see, it's 1998. So I want to make $98,000. I mean, that's how I came up with what I wanted to do.
Right.
Don't talk to me about numbers. Don't talk. And I had a boss that micromanaged me. And I thought, I'm a mother of four kids. I know what the hell I'm doing. Just leave me alone and let
Mhm.
me go do my job. That's honestly my attitude. And I had big goals of where I wanted to be, and just leave me alone, which I still was micromanaged, but I made my quota. They try to say, well, how many are you going to close? I I really didn't want them to know because I was focused on what I was doing. But that's how I was successful, is that I knew how to write down what I wanted and how to feel it, and do the magnetic and the electrifying steps.
Right.
Electrifying steps is I did what the company wanted me to do. I went out and sold, right?
Right.
And
Right.
and didn't take no for an answer. But yeah, I was highly successful
Yeah.
working in the man's world as well as corporate America in a field that I knew nothing about. I
Oh yeah.
couldn't find my way, right? I'm already challenged with directions, and I don't know anything about technology.
Yeah. But still, you made close to six figures when six figures was really important. When six figures was a lot of money. Yeah.
Well, I just kind of thought, well, okay, well, it's yeah, it's like, well, what am I going to do? Well, I couldn't. And when the boss would have a meeting, the manager, it's like, it'd go over my head. Like I couldn't listen to him
Yeah.
because I
Yeah.
don't operate. I am that way. Don't try to tell me that's what I have to do. Just tell me what I need to do.
Right.
And
Right.
I never to this day, I'm not going to tell you how many it takes me to do whatever. I'm
Yeah.
not going to do it because it is against my grain. And
Yeah.
yes, I know sometimes not to be stubborn, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I get the answers I need to achieve what I need, like there's certain things I need to
Right.
know.
Right. Right. Well, and,
Uh,
and part of it is like if you put a number to it, then you're limited to that number. What if your number is double that? What if your number is triple that? It's
Well, you're saying something, and some people may not agree, but I don't, that's
right.
okay. It's my show. I want them to stay. You can leave a comment. That's all right. But in the spiritual energy of creating, that's magnetic. It's not a number
Right, right. Yeah, I
because
had
the
a client
flow.
yesterday. Yeah, I had a client yesterday that she's a new client coming on board, and we were, one of the things that I have to do is get all the credentials so that I can log into stuff and see their stuff. And so she was giving me her password. And I was like, okay, that's kind of an unusual password. And it was, I'm not going to give the password, but it was swimming pool. It was a variation of that, and it had some numbers to it. And I'm like, that's kind of odd. And she said, because I want a swimming pool in my backyard. So every time I or anybody else types that password in, they're helping me manifest my swimming pool. And I thought that's so cool.
I love it. Now, the
Yeah.
left brain work you have to have. You
Yeah.
have to, you can't walk around without with a half a brain. You can't walk around without half of you. You have to bring it all
Yeah.
and bring the marriage. It's a union, right?
Yeah.
It's so you dream and you feel what you want, then you do the masculine or the electric or the action part,
Yeah.
and I wrote it down. This is really what I want, but my heart was wanting it for, I had a reason, and it was what was
Right.
driving
Right.
me.
Right.
So in the presence, it's all about charisma and magnetic, and people want people drawn to you, right? And what you
Oh
do.
yeah.
And so what I hear you say, the work you do, that's what you do. You
Yeah.
help people to show up, to be that magnificent star that they are, and you help build that presence for them so they can do it and they can be of service. And that's
Absolutely.
beautiful. That's
Absolutely.
absolutely beautiful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And tell us about your free gift. It is in the chat.
Yeah, it's it's interesting because there's a lot of mistakes that market business people make when they're talking about marketing because they either hate marketing or they don't understand it, blah 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 blah. And so I really try to help make marketing simple for people. But I've also identified 10 10 messy mistakes that marketers make, that business owners make. So I put this in an infographic. This is the top 10 messy marketing mistakes that business owners make. So it's my gift, and would love for you guys to grab it and enjoy it and learn from the mistakes.
I hope that they do. Did you hear that phone ring? Did you hear that? I am sorry. That is one of my
Hey,
kids.
yeah,
But I'm not usually I answer it when it's my kids, but not
I
now.
know, me too. Yeah,
It
me
doesn't
too.
matter what age they are, you still seem to
Absolutely,
do that, don't you? But yeah,
absolutely.
well, I love your gift. I love what you do. Your
Thank
energy
you.
is you've got your energy is so caring and nurturing,
Oh,
and just it's magnetic,
well, thank you.
real, and I love how good you are at technology, and then you've got the marketing part, and gosh, Lori, that is so important.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I really enjoy what I do. I love, and I've just gotten with my clients now and I'm like, turn on your otter as soon as we talk because when we start, I don't know where things come from and I can't repeat them. So just make sure you like transcribe what we're saying or whatever. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I enjoy what I do.
It is, and you are definitely connected to source and your guides and your angels, and they're with you all the way, helping you. You're very gifted, and I'm
Well, thank you.
honored to do this show with you. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here too. Thank you. Thank you for
Yeah,
asking me.
yeah. So there is. I'm giving away a free quiz. I talk about it every time I do a show, and I'm giving away a free quiz. I'm just saying, go take the quiz.
No,
It's
take the quiz.
your,
Yeah.
it's for your money, success, beliefs, and all I can do is help you to create more of what you want. And yes, there's a lot more in life besides money. I get it. And if you're going to make a bigger present and you're going to help more people, you're going to have to make more money. But the way the world is, you still have to have resources to do whatever you want.
Absolutely.
And the success, it's honestly about building the confidence and having really be that belief of that nothing will get into your way to
Yeah.
have and to accomplish what you want.
Yeah.
So I can't tell you, most people do get stuck in their life. It's usually around health, relationships, business, money, something. We get stuck and we don't see how to move forward.
Right.
So I
Right.
absolutely help people to stand there in the light and help you to get unstuck very quickly. And I do that through cutting edge, powerful mindset techniques that blow your mind. It
I
helps
think it's awesome.
very quickly.
You give
Yeah,
real results.
you do.
We both
real,
do. Yeah.
and I did. I received the name real in a dream
Yeah.
that
That's cool.
you need to call what you do real. So it's like, okay,
Yeah. Hey, we listen to the voices.
Yes, we do.
because, absolutely.
Yes, we
Absolutely.
do. All right. Well, I want to thank you again for
Oh,
the
thank
time.
you.
We're on a little bit longer. I apologize. I think I must say that at all my shows. I'm sorry. I'm on a little bit. We just know I like to talk. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love to share what other people do at my camera. All right. So with that, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And
Everyone have
I
a
hope everybody has a good weekend.
fantastic weekend.
Yeah.